everyone, welcome to the fourth episode of Sleeping Beauty 1959 versus Maleficent 2014. Specifically, why is Maleficent the symbol of feminism? Today, you are here with the School of Liberal Arts, and this is Wachiraya. Let us tell an old story anew. Once upon a time, in a faraway land, there lived an evil witch, Maleficent, who put a spell on a newborn princess, Aurora.
Before the sun sets on her 16th birthday, she will prick her finger on the spindle of a spinning wheel and fall into a sleep like death, a sleep from which she will never awaken.
I beg you.
The princess can be woken from her death sleep, but only by true love's kiss.
She is angry that she is uninvited to Aurora's christening. That doesn't make any sense, doesn't it? To seek the real motive, we have to turn back time when she was once a young fairy with pure-hearted, who had a heavenly life in a peaceful magical realm called Moors. At that place, she met a young orphan boy named Stephen. They became friends since then. As time passed, their relationship grew into lovers, and Stephen gives her what he called a true love kiss on her 16th birthday. Doesn't that sound a little familiar? As they grew older, their paths became different, and it finally drove Maleficent into an evil witch, one of the evilest witches of Disney. Since she is an evil witch who does evil things, how come she is a feminist icon? Well, before we go any deeper, let me introduce you to what feminism is. Simply, feminism is all about all genders having equal rights and opportunities. So, a witch, in this case associated to a witch trial or witch hunting in Salem around 1692, when young girls were accused of being a witch and were slaughtered because those girls would not fit into the Puritan framework affected in that era that they have to be a good and obedient wife who supports the male-dominated hierarchical structure of the society. As a result, a witch hunt was the solution they found to maintain their domination and to control women. There is no doubt why these fairy tales would often utilize the character of witches to reinforce sexist ideas as bad women, right? However, today, witches, a feminist symbol, utilized to represent women's empowerment. Please give them a round of applause. Another thing that I would like to talk about in the Maleficent eponymous version are three characters that were changed through the reconstruction of this movie, which are Maleficent, Aurora, and King Stephen. In the animated version, Maleficent seems to be nothing but pure evil. No backstory can be used to explain her evilness. Apart from evilness, it can be said that she is incredibly powerful. She is capable of teleporting, spellcasting, and transforming herself into a dragon. Unlike the animated version, her character is full of dimensions. When she was a fairy, she is positive, good-hearted, and sympathetic. She let young Stephen go even though he was trying to steal from Moors and befriend him. She cares about the people around her. She is also good at leadership as she arises her Moors army against the human invaders. But after the betrayal, she becomes revengeful. She curses Aurora to fall into a deep sleep, just like when her father drugged Maleficent. And the princess can be awakened only by a true love kiss as Stefan had given to her. So, there is no such thing as true love in her opinion. Aurora in the animated seems to be a kind of passive character, like a princess who is waiting to be saved by her handsome prince. She is also beautiful, kind, and soft-spoken. Similarly, her character in the movie is also familiar with the animated, except for one thing, which is righteousness. When she returns to the palace on her 16th birthday and finds out that her father was the one who cut and stole her godmother's wings, she did not take his side because she knows what he did is unforgivable. So, she stands for justice and frees those wings to its owner. For Stefan, we know nothing much about him in the animated. He seems to be kind and just does his work of ruling the land. On the other hand, his role in the movie is totally opposite. He is an orphan boy working as a peasant. His poverty leads him to be ambitious and greedy, to live in the palace and be the king. And to do so, he is willing to betray his only friend by hurting her, which informs us how cruel he is. After his daughter was cursed, he obsessed with thinking about how to destroy Maleficent. As I mentioned earlier, we can see that these three characters represent two themes, which are the complexity of good and bad and love and relationship, as described by the Australian Council on Children and Media, which shows that good people can often follow dark paths because of trauma beyond their control. It also highlights the importance of forgiveness, the beauty of friendship and relationships. One thing that could not be missed in this movie is the heartbreaking tragic scene when Maleficent's precious rings were ripped off. After Stefan overheard that King Henry, who was on his deathbed, would crown the throne to whoever killed Maleficent, he then decided to reunite with Maleficent, pretending to warn Maleficent that humans are going to kill her. Then, he drugged her into a deep sleep, pulled the knife over, but he couldn't bring himself to kill her. He therefore brutally cut off her wings with an iron chain and left her awake with agony. What is more painful than not dying is the most precious thing taken away. But what is more painful than it is taken away is the one who did it, is the one she trusted the most. Angelina Jolie as Maleficent and Linda Woolverton as a screenwriter explained that this brutal scene is a metaphor for rape. Her precious wings represent her freedom, her individuality, her feminine prowess, and most prominently, her innocence. By physically violating her when she was rendered deliberately unconscious means to take her own identity away. We can see that even a strong, powerful woman like Maleficent still couldn't escape from this patriarchal system, which is represented by the human kingdom. When Rhaenyra stated that she was oppressed not because she was weak and submissive, but men saw Maleficent as a threat for their domination.
All in all, I think that this movie might be the correction of the previous one, Sleeping Beauty, that it may have caused misunderstandings about gender by pointing out assaults that women interfere in life, such as sexual abuse or oppression by patriarchy system, which affected to all genders. To be frank, the former movie, Sleeping Beauty, did not really show feminism ideas. Instead, it pushed the feminism character to be a villain. Furthermore, we can see that a lot of dimensions have been added to characters, so they become more realistic. I personally like the fact that Prince Philip is not able to awake Aurora by his kiss, but her fairy godmother can. From my perspective, Love does not really have to be in a specific form, like boy and girl love that ends up with a marriage. It could be any kind that makes you appreciate yourself, just like Aurora and Maleficent love.
I will leave it up to your imagination whether Maleficent is to be an evil or just a victim. However, please be reminded that nobody is born evil. It's the choices that they make. Macy Williams. Thank you for listening, and please stay tuned for our last episode.